Side 6 has been lying the whole goddamn time. Also, RX-78? It's another fucking Gundam.
NT.
It doesn't matter, we don't know what these stand for. You never figure this shit out. It's like the EX. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of 0080, War in the Pocket. Technically, this will push us to halfway through. We have a board, we've got comments, we've got notes, so let's start with the board. And with the board comes the board changelog. I added our new Zeon commander, and I connected Bernie to the crew.
Zeon's forehead.
Yeah, technically, sorry, I forgot that's who I meant. I also added the Admiral
Captain
guy.
Of the... Oh, Admiral.
Well, no, that's who I meant. That's who you're talking about. That's who I meant. I just forgot to note that I also added the Admiral guy.
I noticed. Yeah, not much changes, really, except for Andy, who died in the first episode. We have names for the other members of the team. Garcia, Misha, and Captain.
We already had names for those.
That's about it. Yeah.
The only one I added was Mikkel, because we already had his nickname of Misha.
Shay, the other kid doesn't get a name, and the girl has no name either. At least not yet.
Bernard's name is the only one, really, that gets added. Because we didn't know his name before.
Bernard Bernie Weissman. So, we start with the notes, right? Well, we continue with the notes. Sorry, brain's a little scrambled.
Yep, and I've got more, which means I go first. This episode takes place across 3 days, of which episode 32 of OG Gundam takes place on. That's the episode my boy Dren dies in as Amuro runs through his little fleet before Char shows up. It's also the episode right before they reach Side 6. So, if War in the Pocket is even going to allude to the presence of White Base and to the Gundam being in the area, it should happen this episode. Then again, entirely possible we are going to reduce the scope of our purview to what matters to these characters alone, in which case it seems like the other Zeon operation going on here is unconcerned about Char and his plans, or the fleet of Musais and their Rickdoms that got taken out not too far from here.
I mean, that would put the pocket in War in the Pocket, basically. So I guess
sorry, did you want to drum roll this one? I didn't know what you were looking for there.
No. Just statement in response to your comment. Them focusing on just what these characters are dealing with. Hence,
I think
pocket
it would
in
be
the War in the Pocket.
I think it'd be somewhat ridiculous if the commander of the operation, or even that other admiral guy, didn't recognize, oh yeah, there's another fight going on right near here.
He's too busy doing whatever he's doing.
Especially given the fact that one of these was written in 1979, and this show has had 10 years to reconcile that fact.
Well, writers don't think it's important. Which is my first note then. This is episode 2, Reflections in a Brown Eye. Even after seeing all the damage that recent battle wrought, Al is still fascinated by the tools of war. To him, they are just toys, just bigger and louder than his video game. Even Bernard's insignia is no different than a trading card or other collectible.
There are like 3 different notes that all regard how much of an idiot Al is.
He's a little kid who's just fascinated with war.
No sympathy.
Doesn't understand. Yeah, I know you don't actually understand the character. Just like, yeah, you don't care.
I'm sorry, I don't know. Did you say I don't understand the characters?
Yeah, because your point of view is that this is
understanding and empathizing with them are 2 different things.
True, but
I'm an adult now. I don't need to fucking side with the kid because he's a fucking kid. You know what? An adult can think a kid is a fucking idiot. There's a debate about whether you can hold a kid accountable for a crime because they don't understand the world, and there are 2 sides to that debate. I don't fucking have to understand. You're making me angry. I don't know why. I think it's the indication that you think I'm stupid, that it really upsets me. Like, I value your opinion to the point that when you think I'm dumb, I get angry at you because I value you too much, Lessons. I don't know.
Aw.
Well, again, it's the indication that it's not, I don't It's not that I don't understand the characters. I just choose not to be swayed by their age.
Well, I take it as a factor in this case. And I think it's a very important factor to what the narrative is trying to say, right? That this is
What's the point of the show?
Yeah, it's a dumb little kid who is innocent and doesn't understand what's going on until, well, whatever happens, happens.
Right. I just don't see that innocence is a very good shield against reality.
It isn't.
Yeah.
It's just
ultimately the show is going to prove that children are dumb. There's a reason that adults have to shield children from the world, because the world is a harsh place and adults have that responsibility.
It's not that children are dumb, it's that children are ignorant because they don't have the knowledge base and experience.
Well, that's the adult's problem. I mean, the adult's fault.
Yeah.
You'd think maybe in the middle of an essentially world war, I mean, a little bit, I don't know what you would call this. It's not a solar system war. It's only Earth. But it's Earth and the space around it. That's what I'm saying. It's Earth and the space around it, but there's not a good one-word thing for that. Essentially, it's still a world war. Not educating the kids about the danger, right? You think we should have seen these kids, like, I don't know what a duck and cover would be for a colony. Strap yourselves to the wall.
I guess they do have shelters. I mean, other colonies have shelters for whatever that was.
They don't even do the requisite fire drill situation. Just get in a line, go to the door, make sure everyone's accounted for. Al got away, and nobody even brings up that he was gone. Was the teacher mad? No, classes were canceled. They sent other kids to tell the classes are canceled. And I don't know how much of this is Japanese culture and how much of this is just side 6.
I think it's side 6. It's supposed to be like these people are so... They've created a bubble around themselves. Like, oh, this is not a problem. Other people are fighting. As long as we don't think about it, it's fine. And then when that bubble gets pierced, it's like, oh man, what a disaster. Okay, but it's a one-time thing. Because think the human mind can be pretty elastic when it comes to tragedy and justification therein. We create a lot of justification. Like, I once read a story where it was somebody, a real example, not from the usual suspect. It was in Beirut, the Civil War, and people would create justifications like, oh, if I don't take this street, or I take this street in this time and this situation, then I'll be fine, because someone else broke their routine and a shell hit them and they died or something like that, right? That makes no sense. It's just pure fantasy. This person simply has created a routine and believed that routine will keep them safe, right? That's the elasticity of the mind, right? Oh, I have to deal with these horrible situations. Ergo, I am going to believe that since I'm still alive and my routine hasn't exposed me to this direct danger, that if I keep doing this in this way, ritualistic way, that I'll be fine. Even though it was just happenstance that one person was in one street when the shell landed, and another person was in another street when the shell landed, right? They had no control over it, but that's how they synthesized the information they had and created this, even in the modern world.
I mean,
I think that's what's happening.
Just trying to create order out of chaos.
Yeah.
Human mind tries to explain things they can't understand. That's why we see patterns where patterns don't exist.
Yeah. I also have a comment about, something happens when I notice later, but it's part of this as well. So that was your next comment, I suppose.
The opening credits seem to be jets and a boy with a jetpack and a sword flying over to attack a zaku that's defeated a GM. To the best of my ability to follow a chalk narration on a wall while also reading the lyrics, which, by the way, just seem to be generic lyrics.
Well, no, not just generic, because I think they're supposed to about the loss of innocence, so kind of fits.
So you're so sweet thing. Yeah. It can apply to anything.
Yeah, but I think it can be applied to the fact that, oh, things were fine, and now they're no longer fine.
Or maybe two people are going to fall in love, and maybe it literally is just a weird 60s version love song. Like I said, to me, they seem generic.
My second note, Bernaccio has very poor trigger discipline. He keeps that finger in that trigger all the time.
I
Yeah.
was saying, nah, he was pretty good. He didn't shoot that kid any time that he was pointing the gun right at him, but you were indicating towards the fact that his finger would have been on the trigger. Well, it was only on it the one time, and it was facing away. I mean, not what you want to do either way, but
No, he constantly kept it because I even slowed it down when he was sitting down, and he still had. Well, he was sitting down at the finger and trigger, so he could have shot himself. It's like or bumped his and
I
shot
mean,
his
it
leg or
would
something.
fit the narrative as per episode
Yeah.
1, where we saw the GM just the arm breaks off and shoots through the cockpit.
Yeah.
It would be a good theme of the show. Every episode, somebody shoots themselves.
How stupid is war? This stupid. And also pointing it at the kid all the time. When you.
Yeah. He's a soldier. I mean, he's a soldier on the side who's obstinately supposed to be the bad guys. Literally, it'd be no different if, oh, that Nazi's pointing a gun at a kid. They're like, oh, he's a fucking Nazi. Is that really the most evil thing you think he's done today? It's like,
I'm not saying evil. I'm saying stupid.
No, I'm just saying that in the parlance of like how much stuff has come out since 79 to here, that Zeon I don't think has been given. I think this is probably like the first time that being like, oh, it's a Zeon main guy who's not directly fucking evil.
Yeah.
The English voice actor for Al is Brienne Brozzi. I'm thinking I'm saying her name right. A name I didn't know before, but certainly a voice that I knew from my starting days in anime. The very first anime I bought on VHS was Bastard, and she voiced Lucian in that, the kid that turns into Dark Schneider when kissed. Taro in Serial Experiments Lane. Tsukasa from Dot Hack. Gimme from Gurren Lagann. But I think the one that was most iconic for me is Jim Hawking from Outlaw Star. I suppose for the benefit of Phil Fisher, they also voiced 2 characters in Ray Earth, but I only watched the sub of Ray Earth, as Phil Fisher knows.
I didn't finish Dot Hack. Did I finish Dot Hack? I watched quite a bit of Dot Hack, but I didn't finish it, I think.
I mean, it depends on what you mean by finish. I watched the first season of Dot Hack, where I watched Dot Hack Sign. I didn't watch the other Dot Hacks. I watched the half of the DVD release that came with the Dot Hack games, which I think was Dot Hack Luminality or something like that, which covered the events of the real world. Those people were handling the fact that, oh, my friends went into a coma and stuck in the video game, or finding out about that. I just didn't get the rest of the game series, so finished that one.
The first kids go into a coma because, well, the first anime that I remember that kids go into a coma because they go into a video game. Way before, what's his name? SOA did it.
Well, technically, Excel World comes out before SAO, even though Excel World is also in the same universe as SAO. Excel World is the future of SAO.
Yeah.
But it's still technically people in a MMO. Well, it's augmented reality sometimes. There also is the MMO reality. And technically, you get your powers by falling asleep in there, so...
Excel Saga, right?
Yeah. Wait, no. Excel World, isn't it?
Okay, no, so that's a different...
Yeah, I think there's one called Excel Saga, and it's a different anime.
Yeah. Oh, Axel World.
Yeah, Excel World.
Right. But I thought you said Excel like in the...
ACCEL World.
Except the EXCL.
Like the beginning of acceleration. Excel.
Yeah. Well, not like... Nah, I never heard of that one, though. I should watch it.
It's pretty good. It's also one of the few animes that has a short, fat kid as the main character.
I mean, in the virtual world, he
is a little pig.
Whatever.
He is literally a little pig. I think it's supposed to be like they made his avatar a little pig to make fun of him or something. But it's all about him, coming to accept himself and who he really is, and he's worthy of love and fighting for what he believes in, etc., etc.
Okay, so my next point. Funny how the camera uses a form of floppy disk to store video. Then again, this came out in 1989. It's not a zip drive because zip drive came out in 1992.
Remind me what
I checked all the formats.
What you just said? Zip drive. You said zip drive. Sorry, I thought I heard something else, and I was like, oh, no, wait, that's what you said. So no, I was
Now,
thinking that it
originally,
might look like a mini disc. Some of those mini
mini
discs
disc.
used to come in like little square boxes that
I
they
mean,
couldn't
all
be
of them did.
played inside of themselves. So it's
Yeah,
like, oh, that could be one of those. Just
yeah, but usually mini disc came in a smaller, clear case.
that's what I'm talking about.
You it was in a case, and you played in the case. But well, this one would seem like a solid thing that had more like a floppy
I don't
disk
know.
thing.
See, my problem is my memory of that scene isn't playing out well because I've only remembered him having hand on the trigger once. But I'm taking you.
Yeah,
You said you slowed it down and everything, so I'm taking it that actually happened.
it could
In
be a
my memory, it
variation
looked
of a
like
mini disc.
a blue plastic that had a circular thing on the end, which made me think it's a CD sort of medium inside of a plastic thing, which is why I was thinking like mini discs.
Yeah, it looked more like a floppy to me. But then again, mini disc already had come out by 1989, if I'm not wrong. So
But
it could
also,
be a
like,
mini
in
disc.
what world would a floppy be able to hold that much information?
I mean, an advanced version of a futuristic version of a floppy, right?
I don't know. Um, I mean, I have a note about, I'll just skip a note ahead because camera for a rank insignia was just such a dumb trade, especially after the girl showed off that they were selling imitations for $1. One, he's just trying to impress his friends who can't tell the difference between the real thing and a fake. Two, even if he can prove it's real, it just implies him in selling Federation secrets to Xeon. Third, the camera is worth more than $1.
Well, actually, he doesn't tell his friends because
Yet.
later on the guy tells him, "No, you got to keep a secret," and he keeps it a secret. So he's like, "Oh," she tells the neighbor, "Oh, boys, it's no girls allowed, right?" But he doesn't tell anybody.
Wait,
Nobody knows
no,
that
no,
he's
the
there.
guy doesn't tell him to keep it a secret.
Yeah, it says, "Don't tell anybody. It's a secret."
No, he didn't say that at all. The only reason he didn't tell
Yeah,
the girl is because he's sneaking off on his own.
no. He
I have a
literally
whole
has a
note about that.
flashback to her going to him like, "It's a secret. Keep it a secret." Like, yeah, I'm gonna keep it a secret.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. Because I also have a note about him sneaking out too, but
Well, I guess you answered my question, so I guess I go back to mine. My next point. Even the music playing when Al is back in his room, it starts earlier at 8 minute at the 8 minute mark. Seems more like a tune for marching tin soldiers or toy soldiers than the music you expect from a serious war drama. Right? It has that martial beat, but also has like very light, like ting, like what do you
I mean,
call
that would be the perfect song for a serious war drama. I mean, not for Al. I mean, if it was like Al was get older and he was like, if this was All Quiet on the Western Front, disillusioned boys taught that war is honorable and glorious and whatnot. Tin Soldier song kind of playing is, oh, we're toy soldiers heading off to war. Perfect. It's perfect noise.
in that sense. But I usually
Well, I
it
mean,
the
Bernard could
way
be that character for us here. Bernard seems to be
yeah.
confused by the concept of what he's actually doing.
Yeah. But this is Al who is, puts on the badge and starts saluting. It's like, I am so and so first class and
Essentially a
reporting for
toy
duty.
soldier. He's not an actual
Yeah.
soldier. He wants to be these things.
Yeah.
But, I get a note about that too. Just
Go ahead. It's your next
more
note.
shit to toss into my Alice bad basket. At this point, I'd love it if my notes about the shipping code being off was a plot point. That the container we see is actually a completely different one, and in the end is all for nothing. Not so much from a war is hell position, but from an animators didn't actually make a mistake position. I'd enjoy it more if it was on purpose, is what I'm saying. Because they did it. Like, episode 1, I told you what the container's number had written on it. Anyone can go back and check if they think I'm wrong. Then Al zooms in, and it's like, oh, that's the wrong number. And then in this episode, they take the footage back, and in command, when they're going over the mission parameters, that's a container from the launch site back in episode 1. It's like, no, it's not. That's the different number. That's a completely different number. So I just prefer it if this was all just a giant fucking mistake, and all of this fighting and all of this turmoil we're about to go through was over a mistake, like on purpose mistake by the writers, not the people in the show.
Talking about that, Four-Hit Sion is a real a-hole, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, you because basically the whole discussion is, yeah, you told us it was a lab and only required a small team, and it got my guy killed. And it's like, well, I guess I should have. Because he said, should I have listened to you before I sent you to that mission? It's like, hell yeah, you should have listened to me, you know.
I remember
But the way
thinking,
it's so sarcastically, he's like, well, I guess shit happens, but who cares? And he's
I
like,
remember thinking
motherfucker.
in the scene that what was being implied between the two of them is that neither of them can admit to being wrong. I'm sorry, I didn't write a note about it. This is one specific thing I don't write a note about. I remember just thinking it at the time. Because it felt like either of them admitting wrongdoing felt like either of them would have been bad at their jobs. Like, I can't admit that you were wrong because that would admit failure on my end, and you can't admit that I was wrong or right or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. I hope I'm getting it out there. I can't remember exactly because I don't remember exactly the back and forth. I do remember what you're saying is correct, but I felt like that was the back and forth that was going on. That's why nobody raised more of a fuss, and they just let him be an asshole in the moment.
Yeah, in fact, one of the other soldiers goes and bumps the table like to stop the conversation. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I can't call you out for your miscall before the mission started because that admits that I'm bad at what I'm doing because I saw it on the ground and couldn't respond to it. But I can't call you out because I went with it to begin with. I can't remember exactly what my note would have been there, but I saw it happening and I thought about it.
I think it should still be on the commander who was the one that allocated resources and the intel. It says, according to my intel, and the implication was that he told them, listen, we're going to need more people for this.
Oh, also, I think it was a lab. I don't think that was Matt. I don't think that was a wrong call. I think it was a lab. I think it was a small lab.
Yeah, but it was more heavily defended than they expected, right?
Yeah,
so it's like,
but again, to my point about neither of them can call the other one out. It might ultimately be the commander's responsibility. But at the end of the day, the captain's not going to make that call. So no one's going to be gotten any blame for Andy's death. I assume what the captain meant by new type use Gundam was a Saikamu equivalent equipped Gundam, which would be the first we'd see a Fetty one in this series, if so. Technically, it would be the second we'd see in any show, given we'd seen one 5 years in the future in an alternative universe were we to include it. Technically, it was a Fetty one. Those two people were... Remember, we had the whole argument, does the Federation still exist, based on those two people. One of them was in a Saikamu Fetty suit.
Oh, yeah, but they was in the cyber enhanced.
Doesn't matter. The point was it would be a new type use Gundam. So technically, we did see one there. Fetty.
Yeah. I noticed that the captain is not even smoking those cigarettes. Like, he has this thing where he takes a Pall Mall, puts it in his mouth, and starts talking. And then, he starts putting it out. And I know it grosses you out, the image, so I'm sorry about this. None of them are lit. Like, they're full-on cigarettes.
The first one was lit.
None of them are lit.
The one that he took out of his, the one he puts out when Bernard walks into the room, it was lit because it was smoking. I made a comment about it when we were reacting to it. It's like, this seems like the worst place to be smoking.
You see all the cigarettes are full length and they're all smooshed. Apparently, he just puts them in his mouth.
I have to give it to you. This is going to be the least I'm going to be able to argue because I do try to not watch it. But the fact that it's like you just put one out and then without talking, just picks another one out of the pack.
Yeah, I was a smoker, and let me tell you, guy wasn't smoking shit. he was taking what Pall Malls can be expensive. Well, no, actually they're pretty cheap even today.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, and he was just like pulling one after the other. Right? He was doing he was doing I'm going to pretend to. He could even be lighting it, but he was, because the whole process, like, you take it in, usually you spell it through the nose or the mouth. Right? He wasn't doing that. He was like, stuff it out, put another one in. Never saw a light or anything like. And talking with it, so he has that.
I mean, to be fair, in any of that, it could have been happening during any scene where the camera went back to Bernard.
Yeah, but you would see like the smoke going or something like that. And,
No, I meant the whole lighter thing. Like, I understand what you're
yeah,
saying about the look. Obviously, as I already said, it would be the least thing I'd be able to argue. I wasn't
yeah.
trying to pay attention to it, so
It might well be. I mean, wasn't it in the A Team that supposedly the leader would always have a cigar, but he said, "Oh, I never liked them. I just to have them in my mouth or something like that." Because
I mean,
and
he
they
had
actually,
one. I don't know if he ever smoked it. I
yeah,
didn't really watch
yeah,
the
he
A
didn't
Team.
smoke it. Yeah, so
I think in
it's
my
kind of like that.
memory of the A Team, I may have only seen one complete episode of the A Team.
No, I even had when I was a kid, I had one of those electric car tracks with the A Team thing, and the thing was that it was supposed to had a trick. If you did a certain way, it would spin and turn around.
Well, they all do
And
that. I had one of those when I was a kid. Not themed after anything, but they'd go around the corner and they would real quick and they'd come back around
no,
the
no,
other
no,
way.
it was the same car, but if you spun you could spin the car so that it would
No,
be in the
that's what I'm
same
saying.
track and
I'm not saying it's a
turn in
different.
the same track.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Turn
not
it.
a different car. You're talking about the cars that had that little metal thing that went down into the track and had like the two little, I don't know what you would call them. They weren't like
Contacts?
solid. Yeah, well, I mean, they weren't like solid metal. They were just like,
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
call them some like an abrasive
ring.
thing
Yeah,
because it was like, the metal track you put the piece into, and it was also a little bit elevated. So you'd pull the trigger and it like that. They'd go down the assembled track that you would put together. That's what I'm saying. They would go around the corner and it would spin and they'd go back, keep going. They all
yeah, but
kind of did that.
that you will go forward, you press it, and then it would spin on the same track and then go the opposite direction.
That's what I'm saying. They all
And it was
kind of
also
did that. Well, I mean, you could do that
and,
by an accident.
yeah, and it was also designed to knock out all the cars as well. Like do like if another car came in the other direction, you could spin it so it could knock out the other car. That was the whole thing.
Again, that would just happen by mistake on mine.
Yeah, but this was designed to
They'd
do
also
that way.
go
That was the
flying
selling
off
point.
of by
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah. If you do it more quickly, you just fly
Yeah,
off.
you just hold the thing for too long and it just goes too fast. It flies off.
Yeah, yeah. It had the lights that turn on and that was the whole thing. Anyway, to your next note, because the cigarette one was mine.
But they'll send you to Solomon, another faceless sacrifice to the war. I know it's inside the same month as what's coming, but the line feels all the odder for it. Either this guy is fatalistic, seeing the writing on the wall for Xeon and thinking the first line bases are suicide posts, or that's just the general view of any soldier being sent to Solomon. Given the love Dozel's men have for him, I wouldn't think he'd be seen as some sort of slave driver working men to death or anything.
I mean, true, but that could also be the men that have served with Dozel the most. This could be guys that are literally. I mean, Bernard is literally his first mission. Like, oh, you screwed up your first mission, right? And you got shut down. I was like, yeah, stop. So what? Stop messing with me, right? And he's like, yeah, at least you don't get to go to Solomon. Otherwise, you'll be cooked, right?
Well, the point he was making is you will get sent to Solomon if you keep fucking it up. I don't know. Like I said, it just seems like an odd thing to say.
This is talk about Japanese animation and all that. It's interesting. Al was wearing his shoes indoors. I guess that in spite of his last name, Sai City is more Western. Is a more Western style colony. In other words, because even in many anime, even though you're supposed to be in space or another planet, whatever, those little touches of being animation, Japanese animation, like leaving your shoes at the door, wearing socks or whatever, those things still remain. Taking a bath in a very specific way,
I mean,
that
it doesn't
still
really
remains.
mean anything. When I go to my aunt's house, I take my shoes off at the door. She's not Japanese. Like, these are just
But that's
whatever touches. They live in like a well, I almost want to say Western home. I can't think of the name of the type of home that they seem to be living in. Like a bay
colonial.
home.
Yeah, bay or colonial. I used to know all the names of like those kind of houses for some reason. Yeah, because I had a friend who was an architect and he knew of them. So I picked that up from him.
I don't know. Again, you were looking at his shoes. I was looking at the bed on the wall. I'm not going to make a note about this, but my walls wouldn't be able to hold a bed.
That also probably it's a Japanese affectation because we talked about it when we were watching it that he had a huge room and this house was very big with a lot of rooms. So there was no reason for that bed to be folded that way. But if you're in a much smaller apartment building, something like that, you want to
Yeah,
save
you got a
space.
fold-out bed and everything. I'm just thinking that my
Yeah.
walls wouldn't be able to hold it because they're basically fucking cardboard. I was also looking at the blue little sign on the bed that when he folds it out, it just like comes out like a hanging sign. But it's a hanging sign under the bed, so who the fuck is going to see it? What's on that sign?
I don't know, one of those tickets, do not rip, voids a warranty or something. I don't know.
No, because it's a full-on hanging sign.
Yeah.
I'm still just a bit confused as to why the Federation had a GM on Side 6, and also why Zeon was attacking Side 6. We know it wasn't for the item being passed through. That's what Operation Rubicon is about now. The idea that this happened days before White Base and Charles Musai show up, and they still let them dock, is a bit crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like it's not just one gym. There were multiple gyms, so that seems to be the defense. It seems that they were buying equipment right out of the Federation, or well, even then, I mean, if this is size 6 and all the Banshee in size 6 are following the same rules under size 6 government, right? Just one government, all Banshee. Then
all of Side 6 is supposed to be neutral.
Yeah.
I mean, also the element that these people are just fucking calm near the end of the 1-year war and seemingly unaffected by it. I could only see them being unaffected by it if they were under that neutrality clause.
But they were still buying. Well, I guess they wouldn't have any other choice. Either they buy Federation equipment or they buy, Zeon equipment.
I think it's pretty clear that they're not buying equipment. That's not Side 6 manned GMs. The fact that we have a Federation, I can say officer, but soldier, as one of our characters that we're following, seems to indicate that the Federation is here. So those would be Federation GMs, I think. So why? Why is the Federation here fighting and defending? Why aren't they, what do you call it, peace, not peace locked, peace...
Bonded?
Yeah, like when the White Base showed up, and like, okay, we're going to tie ribbons around your weapons and whatnot. Yeah, why are they just out and active if they're stationed here? Like, why are they stationed here?
They are, in fact, defending the colony when the operation goes again. They're fighting outside the colony. It seems to be the defenses of the colony.
But then they're not neutral.
Yeah.
So why is that?
Very good question.
Again, remember, in 79, the episode after the one, the episode this one should take place at the same time, and White Base is going to show up. Oh, we're still fucking neutral. If they were, like, aligned with the Federation at this time of the war, White Base should not have gotten that reception that they got.
And
then why would Zeon be allowed to dock?
Yeah, and at no point do we see, well, we don't see a lot of gyms. Oh, now I'm stuck with the word gyms, GMs, outside of Federation control. So the fact that if they were buying weapons from the Federation, instead of just getting Federation pilots to do it, they would have been there when the Zeon shows up. Like, yeah, we're not completely defenseless. We have our own mobile suits to defend ourselves, right? So,
I'm saying it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to the continuity that we're aware of.
Now, talking about Size 6 officials, weird that nobody in the Size 6 police or military searched for or found the zaku. Yes, Banshee are big, but considering that the Banshee use petty GMs, you would think they would want to secure any missing hardware, theirs or the enemy.
They did.
Although Al does say they took all the weapons, so maybe the authorities secured those first and would come back later for the zaku. But still, if you can.
That was the point I was trying to make, sir. I thought you were done the first time, so I was about to interrupt. Oh, they did. They took the weapons. It's weird that they left it powered up and everything, but they apparently did find it.
And we do know in multiple iterations, although that might have come from later, that zaku still have like anti-personnel weapons as well. They're part of their armor, right? So,
or more so a nuclear power source. Again, they left the power system fully available.
And even then, it could just trample and punch and destroy buildings and kill people, so it's still without any weapons, it's still a very dangerous thing to have.
Well, I would have to assume that the anti-personnel system would have been removed with the rest of the weapons. And it might be that Bernard actually did abandon it because it was incapable of further motion. But again, to me, the nuclear power source on the inside.
Yeah. It's bad enough.
Seriously, what kid would choose tell my mother about my bad grades over talk to another adult that isn't my mom? Funny thing, though, in Japanese, he's afraid he'll get grounded for a month. In English, he says, for my entire life.
It's weird because the scene afterwards, the mom asks, "Oh, the grades are about to come out," in Japanese. And then translation is like, "Oh, my mom must be psychic." Not really psychic. She probably knows your schedule, when you take tests and when you're expected to get them, right? But it's like she doesn't know his grades when he gets home. So we don't really know sure if he decided one way or the other, right?
Well, it seems like he decided since he went and told his friends, oh, she's going to tell my mom.
Yeah.
That implies that he chose tell my mom.
But then the mom doesn't know. I mean, that was just a phone call. It's like, yeah, your son is doing badly. Come
Well, maybe she hasn't made the phone call yet.
Yeah. It's still weird. Okay. This is something I noticed, especially in the spacesuits, that Bernardo was wearing. It had a very, very 2001 look to it. I noticed a strong Chris Voss influence on the spacesuits during the infiltration missions, especially around the style of the number in the back of the helmet and the numbers on the doors of only docking areas. Just, you can Google Chris Voss 1970s space sci-fi illustration and,
Wow. Sorry, I was going a different way with that. I was like, you said Chris Voss. Did you mean Hugo Boss? Because that would be very Xeon.
No, because these were supposed to be civilian suits. And,
yeah, I know. That's why I was kind of confused. It's like, I didn't see that at all. But, one of these names really feels on theme for what the Xeon seems to be themed after. So, I know what you said. I don't immediately recognize the name, but it does, if you look at it, sound a lot like Hugo Boss. Especially if you don't pick up on the name, what you said the first time. Al sneaking out and talking to Chris is such a strange interaction. One, the colony just got attacked yesterday. Is it smart to let this kid sneak out with no idea when another attack could come at any time? Maybe at least ask where he's going so that and if attack does come and he goes missing, you could check there. 2, she's basically an adult asking to hang out with a bunch of kids doing dares. I know it's not what's really happening, but that's what she thinks. That's what she hears. Oh, look, can I hang out with you guys? A bunch of elementary school kids?
I think she's just teasing him.
If it was a reasonable reason, like wanting to keep an eye on them, then she should have done it this time. And yes, I know it was all a cover, but she didn't know that.
I think she was just teasing him, that's all. She didn't actually meant to, because she's like, oh, it's her. Oh, girls are not included. Oh, well, she's
legitimately though, she's like the adult here.
Yeah, she should.
And he's a kid sneaking out in the middle of the night the day after an attack where we literally saw people dead in the streets. So what are you gonna do? Like, oh, he didn't come home last night, and it's like, and then another attack happens, and then, oh, I saw him sneak out. I didn't ask where he was going. Fuck,
And this is my last note. Now, if Al put half as much energy in his studies as he did chasing down those trucks, he would be at least a B student. Because he really, really goes out of his way to get in the back of that truck. Like, he had to be there.
You say like that. Presumably, one of his grades would have been in PE, and he didn't get a B in anything. So,
yeah.
The idea that he ran down a truck at a stoplight.
Well, we never see PE as one of his grades that shows up in the computer, because I slowed it down because it was social studies.
No, I mean, I understand English. That. The same thing happens when I was talking about the grades that Machu was getting in G-Quux. Yeah. How I paused everything. I looked at her whole thing. But physical education is a study in school. Like, I think every school everywhere. So I don't foresee it not being on there, even if we didn't, sorry, it's popped in my head. Like war games, right? It's got to be on the list. Type in tic-tac-toe. Got to be on the list. It's got to be on there. Just take it for granted. PE's got to be on there. And if he didn't get a B in anything, then the fact that he outran a truck just means he's not applying himself in any way.
That was my last note.
Well, my last note is like a sentence. Al knows his old friend is now a Federation soldier, witnessed a Zeon Federation battle, and is ecstatic that Zeon is back in the colony. This kid is a psychopath. Childhood friend showed him her uniform when she was unpacking her shit. He knows she's with Federation. Also, he knows all the fucking rank insignias of the Federation. That's how much he would recognize that uniform. And then he's cheering, "They're back! Zeon's back!" You fucking just witnessed a battle between the Federation and Zeon, presumably where people died. No concern about your friend. None whatsoever.
Yeah, I think I think in his mind, it's still very much, look, look, explosions and giant robots. It's not like, oh shit, people are dying, right? His house didn't get damaged, and it's like he's like, and yes, I know he got on top of the car, and then next thing you know, we see an ambulance taking out a dead body from a building.
Well, before he gets on the car, we actually see the scene. The thing you're describing happens in reverse order. The camera pans over. We see the guy holding the woman on the ground. We see somebody else, the car with the bloody handprint on it, and the ambulance comes in, and then Al comes rushing in and sits on top of the car. But presumably he sees all that stuff. What you're describing, I don't feel like is childhood innocence. I think at best it's absent-mindedness.
I mean, the other kids also reacted the same way, so it's like, yeah.
Cool, they're all psychopaths. I think
it's extremely mature.
All I'm saying, possibly to be edited out, is that the Trenchcoat Mafia wasn't just one kid.
Also, they were older.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like children can't be psychopaths. That's why scariest thing is a kid who doesn't understand death holding a knife.
Oh, there you have it.
All right, well, that said, that's right, we do have comments. Blue Comet from the Patreon, War in the Pocket, Episode 2, Reflections on the Brown Eye. That very same customs inspector at the spaceport was featured in both episodes 6 and 7 of GQucks.
Oh. But wait. So this is that Banshee? Site 6?
I guess.
Unless he
never got a name for it. Well, I mean, yeah, it's been 5 years, but we never got a name for this one. We know what that one is, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but we know the name of that one.
It says Rhea. It says, the people from Rhea, which is
Rhea is the capital Banshai of Side 6.
Yeah.
That's not where that's not where we're at. That's not where we're at in GQucks, and that's not where we're at here.
No, I think it is where you are in GQucks, because that's all the federal buildings.
They refer to it a number of times in GQucks. What it is, it's like I think it's an I name. I can't remember, but that's not the name of the Banshai we're in at GQucks.
No, not this one. The capital one, the one that was in 79.
Yeah, Rhea.
Yeah, so in GQucks is Rhea.
No, that's what I just told you. I just told you that's not where we're at in GQucks. It starts with an I or something. I cannot remember. It's come up multiple times, though. That's not the Banshai. We've even had a conversation, I think like in episode 2 or 3, about where we're at Side 6.
Why have an elite, what seems to be the most elite school of the sides there, and most of the important buildings there's a
because maybe politics. This is the Banshai specifically for the families of the government officials. Like the same way. Why have an entire Texas-themed Banshai?
But that government officials are there, and you would think that. Yeah, but
their
buildings are there.
This is
their offices.
So that would be once again. We even had a whole conversation about the facet that these aren't even the top government officials. This is like the medium tier of government officials. This is Office 7 of this branch, which is the secondary branch of this other thing. These guys who report to Cameron Bloom, Pergamino had to come here. He wasn't already here. No, it's not Rhea in GQucks. But again, it's been 5 years from here to there in GQucks in an alternate universe as well. So who the hell knows? Maybe here in the there in the Zeon future where Zeon wins, this guy didn't give Bernard a hard time and he got promoted. But again, we also don't know where we're at here. I'm assuming we're not at Rhea, because I'm assuming White Base went to Riha, the main Banchai.
And he refers about Rhea in here as like, oh, those people over there didn't give me the right paperwork. So,
well, he doesn't say Rhea, he just says those people. And I'm assuming.
oh, he actually really says Rhea. The people in Rhea don't give you the paperwork.
Once again, disagree. This is one of those elements where I do not remember that being said and would have taken a note about it. So I believe myself. And I'm not going to say you're 100% wrong. Obviously, I can be wrong. I'm not but I'm saying 95% sure of myself on this one. Because I believe he's talking. That doesn't even make sense. This isn't an internal shipping thing. He's shipping from outside to inside. So the paperwork that they're missing is from the senders.
Yeah, construction equipment. But it could have been. Okay, it could be from one Banshee to the other, right?
I mean, it could be. That's what I'm saying. 95% sure of myself, not 100% sure. I'm not going down on this ship like, no, you're absolutely wrong. I'm just saying that if they had said Riha, look, I know the capitals of most of the Banchai, of most of the sides, rather, because that's what they refer to them as. Like in Origin, when they were declaring that, which sides went allied with who and who went neutral, they refer to them by their capital Banchai. So that's what my notes say. Anyway, my point being, I think I would have written down, oh, they mentioned Riha, so we're definitely not there, or we're definitely there. Anyway, our last comment, Mr. Freaky, from the Patreon, War in the Pocket, episode 2, Reflections of the Brown Eye. Yeah, the mobile suit changes. When the show was been made, they decided to redesign the suit for the newer art style, but be the same in universe. But later, pretty sure after the show, it was decided that the design change was in universe, and Zeon and Feds had upgraded models made in the end of the war. You even see the GMs in this episode have newer shields, as the old ones were just the Gundam shields.
Yeah, they're also bigger and kind of curved in as well, instead of being like straight the way they were before. So,
not a good redesign, since now their hands can just break off and shoot themselves.
And not using energy weapons either, which all the GMs in the past had the sort of the energy submachine gun thing. Pistol as opposed to the rifle that the full-size Gundam did.
Well, that said, that is the last of our comments. Nothing left to do here but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I don't know much about this part. But soon enough, there's going to be a trail of chalk. And following that trail of chalk will be a kid in a suit. I guess a space suit. Said about, again, best of my understanding,
award
trying to follow. Yeah, I don't know what the award that was being handed out, though.
Yeah.
See it.
Like a medal?
That's what I'm saying. Jets. I think those are supposed to be jets. And then on the bottom there, kid in a space suit.
I think it could be the gun. Yeah, but is it a kid in a space suit that has a thing in the face? So it could be a Gundam?
No, I think it's small enough. Also, the other one's holding a sword doing that. I mean, they would be, if these kids understand distance, that would be way in the background, considering that coming up here should be a Zaku.
Mm-hmm.
I think, this right here, that's the face of the Zaku.
Mm-hmm.
We can all recognize the weird tubing shit that goes around his head.
Yeah.
And I think that's supposed to be a GM.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think all the rest are Zakus.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the people on YouTube who have this whole thing
I think
cut
that's
out,
a Big Sam. I think that's a Big Sam in
the people on YouTube who have this whole bit cut out, except for the bottom screen, and we're just describing what we see. Really going to be effective for them. Soldiers. KED. Something KED.
Okay.
Joked. Soldiers joked. See, this is where he cheers. They're back.
Mhm.
Psychopath. My best friend's gonna die. I mean, I guess he got as lucky as he possibly could.
Yeah.
I mean, if he hadn't thrown to the actual street, he'd be full of, like, scrapes and bleeding from everything.
Mhm.
Worse than
I'll
that,
do a
though, I
witch.
meant.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Oh, maybe he's not as bad as I thought. I mean, they're obviously not going to believe him for whatever stupid reason, but
警察だったらコンピューターで簡単に調べられるんでしょねえ聞いてるああ聞いてる聞いてるナンバーだって覚えてるんだ S63D0018 ねえちゃんと聞いてよ
are you new here? Like, why are you hitting on her like it's your first day?
こっちは忙しいんだちょっと待ってひき逃げ事件なんだよここぶつけられたんだこっちも見てよこちら16号車これよりベラクルス地区42番地へ向かい交通事故の
Kid, where's your parents?
調べを行う
Yeah.
この運転手の顔は覚えてるかねはいよく覚えています S63D0018 ナンバーは合ってるなおやこの車に間違いないかはい間違いありませ
Also,
ん
they dropped the trailers somewhere.
もうちょい左だよしオーライオーライオーライ
You go into a firefight with these guys?
Well, no, I mean, they're doing subterfuge, right? They could come up with some sort of lie.
警察のものだ聞きたいことがあるわかりましたシャッターの方開けますからちょっと待ってくださいよ
I mean, you last episode who thought they wouldn't even run a red light. Now things are going to get into a firefight with the cops.
Well, it depends on they're prepared to defend themselves. So.
ここの責任者は誰だ私がここの社長ですがどういうご用件でしょうあの表にあるトレーラーあれはお宅の車かねどうなんだうちで借りてるもんですが2、3尋問させてもらおうかおやこっち来
What's the guy outside thing? Why's that guy shaking? He said no.
この中にいるかね待ってください跳ねたなんて何かの間違いあんたには聞いとらんどうだ覚えてるかあのおじさんあの人が僕を跳ねた
How does he know?
今朝6時どこにいた
He ran to the back of this. I mean, I guess maybe he saw him passing by.
ブループラム通りから38番が抜けましたなるほどあの子の証言と一致するな冗談じゃないあのガキ嘘ついてるに決まってるあんたらなんか怪しいね隠し事をしてるみたいだコンテナの中が見てみたくなってな調べさせてもらおう
Maybe call in some backup before y'all get shanked here in the back of a warehouse.
私がやります開けるのにカードが必要なんですよ早くしろカード
Told you this kid's a psychopath.
おや一体どうしたんだお兄ちゃん僕のこと忘れちゃったのあるお前あるか大きくなったなおまわりさんごめんなさいひき逃げなんて嘘なんです父さんと母さんが離婚してお兄ちゃんに会えなくなって街でトレーラーに乗ったお兄ちゃんを4年ぶりに見つけてそ
それで探してほしくて嘘ついたんです。この傷も転んでつけたんで、車なんか関係ないんだ。ごめんなさい。
本当か。
ええ、ある、ダメじゃないか。おまわりさんに嘘なんかついて。
Only in a TV show will this kind of fucking thing work.
なんてやつだ。警官
Oh, never mind. You guys aren't suspicious
場
anymore.
所がわかんなかったんだ。
分かってどうするつもりだった。
仲間に入れてもらう。
仲間？戦争ごっこやってるんじゃないんだぞ。
ごっこじゃない。
タイ、あのガキどうします？アルフレッドだったね。
おじさん隊長でしょ。
I mean,
僕ら
technically.
も仲間に入れてよ。
So I went to the more extreme option. We're only going to be here a couple days. They're not going to investigate this for 24 hours at the very least. We can kill him.
条件？
まず私たちのことを誰にも喋らないこと。
But remember, this is the guy who was shouting about Andy dying, so clearly he's not going to be down for killing a
君
kid.
が撮影したビデオについて聞きたいんだ。
ここが8番ゲート。あのコンテナはここにあったんだ。多分12ブロックの方に運んだんだよ。
おお、なぜそう思うんだね。
8番ゲートから運ぶ荷物は大抵 C のリフトを使って。
Yeah, because he knows about his dad's operations.
ある、君は実に賢い少年だな。
ねえ、あの中に
Well,
何が入ってる
no, his dad was coming in at the gate. I don't think his dad works at the gate.
僕も手伝います。
今日のところはこれで十分だよ。協力ありがとう。これを君にあげよう。我々
It's a dumb thing. It's the insignia of their operation. This is dumb, though, because it's proof that Xeon's here. Well, to be
Yeah,
fair,
right.
anyone thinks it's just a dollar store thing, too. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
わかりました、隊長殿。
バーニーが君の家まで送ってくれるそうだ。
車がそんなに珍しいか？
パイロットの運転だもん。
お世辞嫌がって。
あの子はしばらくバーニーに見張ってもらおう。バラしまえばよかったんですよ。
See, I told you, this is the thought process.
Yeah. I mean,
We're only here for
He
a
is a-
couple of days. A kid could go missing for 24 hours before they'll investigate.
まあ、バーニー向きの仕事が一つできたってことさ。そういうことだ。
I guess that would work
Get
out,
rid-
though, because two cops literally saw you here as the last point.
Yeah.
This is the first place they'd investigate.
何しろ無重力だ。コックピットの中に血が雫になって浮かんでさ。もう地獄もまっぞ。
へえ。
俺なんか数えきれないほど戦友が命を落としたのを見てるんだ。
So either you don't have a lot of friends or you can't count very high.
手にしてられないんだぞ。
バーニーも人殺したことあるの？
え？殺したかないけどな。やられる前にやらなきゃこっちがやられる。ターゲットは落とすしかないんだ。
厳しい世界なんだ。
当然。俺もあと一機落とせばエースってとこでやられちゃってよ。
相手が凄腕だったの？
油断しちまったんだ。
I think he's a liar. He's
I mean, yeah, well,
lying.
you saw it's onto a kid. But I was gonna say though, you're not dead, so
うん。
one more kill you could still get.
あ、そこ右に曲がって。
Oh, okay.
I think that said Kiko Market. You know, just like a homage in show. Probably Kiko Market, rather.
ある。いくら休みだからって出かけるときはきちんと言ってきなさい。
はーい。
学校から手紙が来てたわ。成績のことで
There's
相
a
談
letter.
したいそうよ。この前のテストの結果悪かったよね。なんで隠してたの？ある。遊ぶのは勉強でちゃんと結果を出してからにすること。わかった？はーい。
Ah, so they actually bugged the badge. Smart.
They should have disguised it as something else.
I mean, what else are gonna give him, right?
The badge that he already
Okay.
has. Literally, Bernard
Yeah,
could be
but
like,
yeah.
I already gave him an ensign's rank badge. Give him another one.
Yeah.
It looks like the thing they sell in all the fucking dollar stores, except for not this special badge that we have for our current operation.
Women's Association meeting, I guess. I don't know.
Now then, he took a video from his balcony, and that hot chick was over here somewhere.
パパ、ママ、早く警察に電話して。泥棒よ、泥棒捕まえたわ。
Wait. She doesn't live with anybody.
No, that's what she's pretending that.
Well, you don't need to
scare
pretend.
anyone else.
So you don't need to pretend you knocked the guy out.
Yeah, but you don't know if the guy is alone.
Wait, I've known you since you're still a kid.
Yeah.
Well, I'm confused. Does she actually? Because that was unnecessary. That's what I'm saying. I don't think your thing works because she just shouted, "Mom, cancel the phone call." There's nobody else there. Who's that
He has to
for?
recognize that badge. Yeah.
Well, well, depends on which badge you're talking about. One is the special operations unit that they are part of. The other one's just an ensign symbol. But, you know, he's infatuated. Psychopath.
Yes, I do have a family. I guess they are a family there.
Oh, the dad's drinking beer. I can tell because the thin can says beer.
Yeah.
母親が違ってまして、親父が若い頃僕が生まれたんですが、周りが反対して別れたらしいんです。
美智子はあなたのこと知ってるの？
秘密なんだよ。だからこっそり会いに来たんだ。
それにしても泥棒と間違えるとはな。ま、許してやってくれ。早合点しただけなんだから。
I mean, worse than that, though, she jumped into somebody else's yard to attack them. What if you were like, stay in the night, friendly friend or something? You just attacked someone out of the blue. You saw the fucking uniform.
I don't think he actually did.
He did. She took it out in front of him when she was getting the rest of her clothes to give to him. Yeah, what we know from 8th MS team. Federal forces are stupid enough to start putting people on reserves right at the end of the war. Everything in this house is labeled by what it is. Trying to look good in front of her, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there was socks, but they're leg warmers, I guess.
Ah, the 80s. Kids could walk around with guns and not get shot. Like, seriously, this kid just wandered in.
Yeah.
Anybody could just wander in. I mean, there's only one seat. All of you can't leave on this thing.
Yeah.
俺はよ、バーに残ったからもう20機後押してると思ってたぜ。
Well, you shouldn't have lied.
Oh, I saw the bottom half of the suit. I'm like, wait, who are we looking at right now?
Yeah.
クリス、ここいらで一旦切り上げよう。午後から新しいプログラムでもう一度チャレンジだ。
了解。
So the Feddies have an entire base here for some reason.
80% には程遠いな。
Side 6 has been lying the whole goddamn time. Also, RX-78? It's another fucking
78
Gundam.
NT. Yes, NT.
Doesn't matter, we don't know what these stand for. You never figure this shit out. It's like the EX.
私じゃアレックスは使いこなせないって意味？
とんがんなよ。こいつはニュータイプ専用。
Simmer down now.
あんたの腕は認めるが、ちょっとばかり荷が勝ちすぎる。これを扱えるのは一種の化け物さ。ホワイトベースのパイロットに回すらしいがね。
Oh,
Why?
because it's supposed to be the one that is assigned for new types. Remember?
So
I guess
they
they're
imply that
developing one
Chris isn't a new type? Because I thought they
Yeah,
were
she says
implying
that-
that Chris was a new type.
Yeah, I think now she says she's not crazy abilities that you need for that machine. He's just a test pilot. Yeah, he never lights a cigarette.
Maybe that's the tie-in? Because again, the white base is docking at some point right now.
まあな。
バーニー、どうして連邦は基地のこと隠してんの？
サイド6と連邦との安全保障条約がまだ正式には締結されてないからさ。つまり今はまだ連邦の活動にいろいろ制約があるってこと。
They really pushed that security agreement well into the war.
連邦ナンバーの車って意外と少ないね。僕たちが
Alabama Street.
連邦の基地を見つけたら体調考え直すかな。
何を考え直すんだ？
パイロットのこと。ミーシャじゃなくてバーニーになるかもしれない。
Don't want to. I've already got PTSD.
エースになるチャンスはこれからもあるしな。さあ、ある、入ろう。飯でも食おうぜ。
もうちょっと。ああ。
どうした？ある。おい。
The downfall of the Federation
バーニー。
is going to be on this kid's facial recognition.
Yeah.
同じ人間がいるからってそこが連邦の基地とは限らないぜ。
近づいて確かめればいいじゃない。
どうやって近づく？
地下から。
地下？
コロニー校舎の整備用トンネルを使うんだ。
Hey, Colony Corporation was mentioned in the more about the Universal Century video that we watched.
やったー。
I guess implying that they still kind of own the colonies.
Yeah.
ここが2の27ってことはここから200メートルぐらいか。意外と簡単に行けるかもな。
Yeah, thank God they don't secure the underground tunnels.
バーニー
慌てんなよ。
早く。ここいらじゃない？
もうちょいってとこだろ。
ああ、閉まってる。開きそう？
妙だな。スイッチが見当た
I
ら
swear they were spelled a different way a second ago.
もう一つ西の通路当たってみるか。
うん。
わかったぞ。
何が？
新品のシャッターがこのブロックにだけ取り付けてある。人が入ってほしくない理由が最近できたんだ。
あのコンテナここに運んだんだ。
ピンポン。
People.
照れるなよ。
だって連邦の基地が目の前にある。
I mean, I am slightly disappointed that what I said before didn't pan out. That they just got the numbers on the container wrong.
きっと隊長も喜ぶぞ。ん？ある？何やってんだ？
Yeah, maybe like, I don't know, tie yourself to something.
危険すぎる。
やだ。
死ぬかもしれないんだぞ。
平気だい。
平気だったか？
全然。バラエニーこそ怖いんじゃないの？モビルスーツがないと臆病になるんだね。
目標はあの出っ張りだ。俺がたどり着いたら。
I also still want to indicate that this just proves everything I said about Al being a fucking psychopath. He's confirmed now that his friend is a Federation pilot, and is actively still going out of his way to try and help these Zeon people.
Well, I think the way he wants it is that he wants to help his friend, him, to be an ace, right? So if he can get into combat...
Well, no, because he's been helping them before they confirmed that he wasn't an ace. I mean, what you said is worse. My other friend is a Federation pilot, but I want my Zeon friend to be an ace, so he's got to kill somebody. And I only know one other pilot here. My friend's got to kill my other friend.
He doesn't know that she's a pilot, though.
He knows that she's a Federation soldier. Either way, he's actively trying to get some people to kill other people.
連邦の兵隊だ。
Yeah, I don't think they're just going to let you go, kid, if they catch you here.
I was looking for the bathroom again. I mean, how, right? How to get out of this one? Maybe his dad actually works here. Maybe that's why his dad's never around.
Yeah.
In which case, you can pull an Amuro.
And kill his dad?
I mean, sure. I meant more just, you know, flashes ID, gets out, because... Oh, why did you tell us you were?
Yeah, but he got beat up before he was there.
Oh no, he only got hit like once or twice. The rest of the guys are the ones who got all like wrapped up in bandages and shit.
Yeah,
and he didn't really get beat up. He just got like, you know, they lined them up. He was more beat up by the ride there. He is beat up by Kai's bad driving.
True.
No, like I said, Al's just a horrible person. Like I said, I don't know how you defend him. Like, legitimately. It's essentially, oh man, I hope that bully beats up my friend today.
True.
I mean, you gotta hit me with more stuff here. Lessons.
I don't know, I'm thinking about it though, because it's the animation, this show makes it very hard to side with him, you know, as a kid who is just so fascinated by the all aspects of war without understanding the real meaning of it.
Well, he's fascinated by Zeon is the problem. Yeah. Like, again, he knows his friend is with the Federation. and he's like, let's find that Zeon base. Let's find that Federation base. It just doesn't play out well.
ジオンは負けるな。アレックスはどうした？
マッケンジーさん。ジオンは悪いんだ。
Now he's
バ
smoking.
ーニーあいつに勝てる？
I was laughing at the guy double-handing the semi-automatics going up the stairs. Obviously, I think what's going to happen next episode is Bernard's going to ask out Chris, and then eventually he's going to kill her later in the episode.
Probably.
Bernard just seems like way too much of a character that we're going to carry on through until the end. And, we focused a lot on his character story so far. We haven't focused on her at all. I feel like she's just being set up for the fall.
And probably the destruction of the RSA-78 NP something or NT something. I don't remember what the rest of the...
RX-78. Sorry, it's RX-78 NT-1.
That was the whole thing?
Yeah.
I didn't see the 01.
No, just -1, not 01. When you were asking, I can't, or when you were saying, I can't see what it says, from one side, you see the RX-78, and then you can't, there's an N, and you were trying to figure it out, but I guess you gave up too quickly, because the camera then switches from the perspective of the guy talking to Chris, and you can see T-1 from the other side.
New type.
-1.
One, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why we'd, the white base is here.
Not in this Branchy, but in the
No,
other
that's what I'm saying.
Branchy,
It's
so
here, though. It's here in the area, not on this, because obviously it's clearly on Rhea.
Well, remember also that the original Gundam was reaching its limits as well. So this one that was built with the information that downloaded from the learning computer of the original Gundam, and they made it for the one new type they know is good at this, right? So they made it for him. They didn't stop developing, suits or anything. They just had to, go somewhere else.
No shit. I know they didn't stop developing suits. The fact is they keep at the whole thing through 8th MS-Team. Where the fuck did these Gundams come from? Like you want to say Revengeance. Requiem for Vengeance. Where did the EX come from? We just don't talk about these things. They just come out of nowhere.
I think the EX stands for experimental as well.
I think I've already said that.
Oh, the X should be covered that. That's the X in RSA-78. Robot.
Like I said, I said that though. So I said that in that episode. Well, I said that in the next episode after that, where Mos Khan shows up, because Mos Khan doesn't show up in White Base. He doesn't show up at Side 6, but I can't remember where he does show up.
Interesting that the Fed suit has a shotgun for a main weapon. I guess for close quarter city fighting. I guess.
I don't know. Gundam Evolution, I remember. The floaty red zaku thing, I can't remember the name of, had a shotgun. Oh, Solomon. Must be it's Solomon. That's where Mos Khan shows up. I think. Because it's right before Lala gets killed. It's like, so they would be in space, so where the fuck does Mos Khan come from?
Oh no. Oh yeah, the captain. He comes from, I think, from Luna.
The captain? Wait, what?
You know about the leader of the attack fleet that tries to intercept White Base, right?
Did you forget who Mos Khan is? You shouldn't. You just saw him in G-Quox not too long ago.
I'm a gouf.
Yes, you are correct. Mos Khan is not McQueeve.
Yeah, so who? I forgot who Mos Khan is.
We were talking about the Gundam getting upgraded, and I brought up Mos Khan. Put the two things together.
Don't remember.
Mos Khan is the one who does the anti-friction. Anti-friction upgrades.
Oh yeah, Okay,
and he does that in G-Quux as well.
Yeah, because he's part of the PMC in G-Quux. Yeah.
No. Well, no, I guess technically he is. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's part of two different groups in G-Quux. That's what threw me.
Well, he's acting on basically on Federation orders, but the cover is the what was it called, like bed chamber PMC or something like that. Like
you cannot remember names for the life of you, can you?
But it was something that had to do with
chamber,
barracks or something like that. I don't know.
Look, I'm not claiming to be really good with names either, but I would never say bed chamber PMC. Dormitory security group.
Dormitory, yeah.
But he was also still part of the Earth Federation.
Yeah. And no, actually, didn't that happen? Yeah, it happened in Solomon. I believe it happened in Solomon. Either in Solomon or it happened before they took off from Earth. Either way, it's one of the two locations that it could have happened. It definitely didn't happen in Site 6.
No, it is Solomon.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying earlier. Well, no, the entire time I've been on the Gundam wiki looking at the OG Mobile Suit Gundam. It's like, where the fuck did this happen? I just missed the line. White Base enters Solomon. Like, I just could not remember for the life of me if White Base had actually gone to Solomon.
Oh yeah, they hang on Solomon to get together with the rest of the fleet. They eventually would go Abakuo.
Right, no, I mean, I remember that they went to Solomon. I mean, I don't remember they entered Solomon. I'm not asking for your confirmation. I've already confirmed it. Literally, before the conversation even started, I said White Base entered Solomon. I'm just conferring.
But remember
my
also that
process.
now we talk about Mascon and his magnetic coating. He basically said it was a stopgap measure because Amuro had reached the limit, had exceeded the limits. His reactions exceeded the limits of the Gundam. So, but this could be another solution, right? That was a temporary solution. They were building this to give him to him, and something happened.
I mean, again, we've never seen the Saikamu before.
Oh, we don't.
In this universe.
No. We have, because, we haven't seen a Federation Psychomu system. We did see the Elmeth, which had a Psychomu system.
Counterpoint, that is a mobile armor.
And I also believe that Char's armor, mobile suit had a Psychomu system as well.
Not any of these. Well, okay, you're talking about the one where the cockpit actually was on the head.
Yeah.
I think that was indicated, yes.
So he blew up that one in Texas, and then he got into the mobile armor in the last battle. So
no, the one that we're talking about had the Saikamu system, possibly. I mean, I think it did. Is the one that he had in the final battle.
Yeah, but that was a mobile suit.
The one he had in Texas was just a mobile suit.
Yeah, that was a mobile suit. But in Texas, in Abakuo, he actually was in a mobile armor.
Once again, you're conflating Texas and Abakuo. The one he had in Texas,
was a mobile suit.
Yes,
the one in Abakuo,
you stop.
But wasn't in the fight. I want to get this clear. In the fight with Amuro, actually, he doesn't destroy it. He pretends to destroy the mobile suit. But I believe that mobile suit did have a Psychomu system.
No, it was just a normal mobile suit. The only reason he gets the Saikamu mobile suit in the final battle is because it's the last thing left. They didn't have anything else to give him. They also thought it wasn't They also thought it was incomplete. But then the tech tells them, no, actually, this thing's like 100% battle ready. It doesn't have its legs. It doesn't need legs. It's going to be in space.
Yeah, and that was a mobile armor. Yeah.
I think technically it's still counted as a mobile suit.
No, that was the one that the fist fell off and he fires from his fingers.
Yeah, but it was still humanoid, mobile suit size, mobile suit shape. If I could remember the name of it, we could solve this instantly, but I can't remember what it's called. Xiong. Xiong is a prototype mobile suit. That is the first line of its description on the wiki. MSN02 Xiong. Prototype New Type Use Space Mobile Suit. And that's all I'm going to read, because reading any more would invite spoilers. Well, anything else to say about this episode?
Not really.
Okay, well, that said then, once again, this has been Stoneface Reactions. I've been Theta. This has been Lessons. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?